Okay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your boy, Mike the Philosopher. I have a special guest, Rochelle, in the house. And she's going to help us out with the male rankings. And as usual, I'm going to do the females, and we're going to give y'all a bit of insight as to what we think about where these people rank. So first, we're going to do the looks and then the personality, and kind of go from there. So tell me what you thought. First of all, let me ask you this. What do you think about this season so far? Like, how does this one measure up to past seasons?
So first, just let me say thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to do this.
My pleasure.
And like you and I talked before, we kind of met, kind of talking about these shows and things like that.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so in past seasons, I feel like the conversations have shifted. I think when I first saw the interviews of this DC cast, I was just like, okay, it's going to be about the drama now. I feel like we're moving away from it being people who are sincerely looking for love and to get married and to be in a relationship. And now it's kind of like the drama of it all.
I see.
Yeah. I'm still intrigued. I still think there's always a few that are very legit and sincere. And I think there are a few with this season's cast, but it's kind of more of the people who it's like, okay, there's a hidden agenda there.
Right.
They're coming across that way.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This is actually kind of how we met with this whole series, and was in a Facebook group together, and we kind of chatted about it. And this kind of brung us together. So I thought you'd be a perfect person for this. So I'm glad you're doing it. I appreciate it. Yeah. As far as this season, to me, I think that it's I kind of talked about this already, but I thought that, as far as, just looks wise, it wasn't what previous seasons were. And I have a question I want to bring up to you later on.
Okay.
I don't want to say it now, but it's something that I'm kind of questioning about the whole process of RTL, like the whole process. So
yeah.
And I'll bring that up later. But yeah, let's get to these guys. I'll tell you what, can we start with the two that got eliminated?
Corey and Tyrone.
Corey, yeah. Tell me about them, what you rank them in looks and personality first.
So let me start with Corey. And I will say, after seeing his interview, I said, how did he even get casted for the show? So Corey came in off rip being very suspect, but let's just talk about his looks. For me, and when I'm talking about looks, I'm talking about if I were to be out, at a club or gym somewhere, and just to see him before he even opened up his mouth.
Right.
I would put Corey at a 5 for me.
Okay.
It wouldn't be, and I would say he's average,
Right.
He's kind of average. He has some good qualities to him. I think he has some height. He's tall, dark, a little handsome. So he has some good qualities to him, but he wouldn't be that guy that I would instantly give a second look to.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's a little bit too thin for me. I like my guys a little bit more meat on their bones.
A little more muscular.
A little bit more muscle.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I've heard him referred to as the little brother of Blair Underwood. What do you think about that?
No.
You don't think so?
Like maybe the little step cousin, maybe, but
step cousin.
Yeah, he didn't really stand out there. And there's some other ones that are just, I was like, okay, yes.
Okay.
But Corey wasn't one of them. I would just put him in like a 5 or 6 on looks.
5 or 6. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me say this about Corey before we go to the second one. I got to the point where I was starting to think that Corey was a mole.
Right.
Okay.
Off
Because
rip.
yeah, off rip, because he seemed to be doing stuff to kind of stir up drama.
Yes.
Now, I'm not accusing the show of putting a mole in there or nothing, but it just seemed a little suspicious to me why this guy would move the way he would.
Right.
Like, how are you going to, you talking about you good with the first date and all this other stuff. You good with the first date and you don't know how to move and you sitting up here telling all the women they can meet your family, and you sending sticky, like he was moving so recklessly,
right,
that I was like, you got to know that they're going to talk to each other, bro. You got to know that they're going to talk to each other. Yeah, and again, I'm not accusing the show of putting a mole in there, but if I had to point out the mole, it would be Corey, because he was reckless.
In his interview, when he said the whole copy and paste thing,
oh my goodness,
I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? And they casted him?
Right.
And then he wasn't the first one eliminated, because even at the meet and greet, the women kind of saw through him. He was exposed then.
Right.
But they eliminated Lamont instead of Corey?
Right.
So I was like, okay. So I get what you're saying, though. It's suspect.
I think they were probably more attracted to Corey than Lamont. Lamont kind of had a bit of an awkwardness to him. He was kind of swaying back and forth when he was talking. And it was like, okay, calm down, bro, But so I think he kind of slid by Lamont for that reason. Is I think the women were just a little more attracted to him. But you're right. He shot himself in the foot day one. With all that copy and paste stuff, and then he pulled all the women aside and tried to holler at him, and yeah, he was a mess.
It was a train wreck. And I would say, yes, attractive wise, Lamont is less attractive physically than Corey. Okay. But I would take a man over Lamont. I would take Lamont over Corey any day. Just based on character, because that is way more important than physical features.
What? Okay, so Aisha, Lamont spit bars at Aisha. I think it was like day one of the meet and greet. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
But he did spoken word.
Right.
And she didn't really appreciate it. What do you think about that? Was that what that would have kind of turned you off, or you wouldn't have minded so much?
So for me, I think it's a man thing, and you can correct me on this, that usually when a man is feeling someone or he's attracted to her, he will do something or say something to try to impress her.
Right.
So I think that was his way. And to me, that is endearing. It is cute. It is sweet. If it's done in a respectful, tasteful way. Mm-hmm. And so I did not mind him doing that. I wasn't turned off on that. I think he was trying to impress her. So for me as a girl, I'm like, oh, he's trying to impress me.
Right.
That's how I would have took that.
That's kind of how I took it too. Like, I thought he was just trying to impress her, but
he was just trying to impress her.
Yeah, but she kind of took it a little differently and was like, oh, that
way differently.
Yeah, that wasn't the right time, or this, that, and third. And, I mean, to each his own. He just did the spoken word on the wrong person. That's all.
Right. That's all it was. It was just on the wrong person. Yeah. But yeah. And it did come off a little corny and all that. But to me, all of that would have just made me like, oh, I think to me, it's like you putting yourself out there to try to impress me. Right. And I just appreciate that.
Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the other guy up, Tyrone? I think you better call Tyrone.
So just on looks, like if I just were to walk in the room and to see him, I would put Tyrone at a 6.
Okay.
He's not, he's a little above average as far as looks. And like if he came up to talk to me, I would definitely have a conversation with him, and then we would just kind of see where it went. Personality wise, in his interview, he said he's a techie guy and that he can be awkward in social and dating situations. He said that up front. And so you could see that, right?
Right.
And I think that he would have to be talking to the right kind of girl who could be okay with that awkwardness and that, in how he moves in his personality. I think where he went wrong was, this is what confused me. He likes Shiloh, right? I loved that he was honest, almost brutally honest, and probably too honest too soon with the other women. I don't see how he came to that conclusion so quickly that he wanted Shiloh to be his wife. And the reason I say that is because when she had the conversation with him about he wasn't going to be ready to love, they were like, oh, this is our first date. I'm like, this is y'all's first date. You didn't already claim this woman as your wife.
Right. And that kind of lends to the question I was going to ask later, but since we're there, let me ask it now. What is it do women want? Okay. And the reason I ask this is because we have two polar opposites. We have Corey, who put all his eggs in all the baskets.
Yes.
Okay. And then we have Tyrone, who clearly put all his eggs in one basket, and they both got cut. So it was kind of confusing to me, because I'm like, okay, do you because women want you to kind of choose. I mean, that's what like Tasia is saying right now. These men, they need to choose this, that, and the third. So it's like, do you choose, or do you just put all your eggs in one basket? Or I was kind of confused as to, because they kind of sent mixed messages for men as to how to proceed. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see.
Help us out with that, Rochelle.
I could see how that could be a little confusing, right? But I will say, and of course, all women are individuals, and but I will say, I think at the forefront that all women want is sincerity, right? Mm-hmm. We want you to be sincere and genuine about whatever you're expressing your feelings are about us, right? With Tyrone, one thing, I would have been taken aback as well if he said, I see you as my wife. And I've actually had that happen before. On a first date, you're talking about, you see me as your wife. You don't even really know anything about me. Right. So again, that makes me believe you say this to everyone. And I don't feel as special. I don't feel as chosen, and I don't feel like this is sincere. So I think with Tyrone, it just happened too fast. How are you already there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And with Corey, he just was not like, I think you called him an F-boy. He is just a scumbag, a F-boy, all of those terms. Well, and it was just exposed. It was just completely exposed. So he never came across to me as being sincere. Tyrone did, but it just was, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have those feelings, but at the pace that he got to that, like our first date, I'm your wife. Right. Yeah. It's like, how many other women have you said that to on a first date?
Well, there's somebody in the cast that's kind of similar to him, but they're on the opposite end. That's Camille, right?
Yes.
And Camille is claiming Cornelius as, that's my boyfriend, that's my man.
Yeah.
And it's just on the opposite end. We'll see how it works out with her. But as far as Tyrone, what was that?
That ain't gonna work out for her. It ain't gonna work out. No.
Well, no, I don't think so either. But Tyrone, he was sincere. See, okay, here's my thing. I think that Tyrone meant your wifey material.
Okay.
Not you're my wife.
Okay.
Now he wouldn't have flipped out and spazzed out like Camille did You know, if Shiloh went to go talk to other guys, this, that, and the third, he wasn't acting out the jealousy like he already claimed her. When he said, I see her as my wife, I think he viewed her as wifey material. And
Okay.
I don't know why that kind of freaked her out, because I would say that that's why everybody is there, to get a mate to some degree. I don't know, you know, marriage or whatever, but I think your wifey material, maybe he should have phrased it that way.
I think he should have phrased it that way.
He probably should have phrased it that way, to say wifey
Yeah.
material instead of you're my wife.
Right.
Because I think there's a difference in that, but at the same time, I think that he's just a guy who knew what he was looking for, who he wanted, and he's seen that potential in her.
Right.
And it was just kind of ironic.
And had he said it that way, so for example, even if when I told you about the first date and the guy was like, he sees me as his wife, had he said on our first date, I see you as wife material, I would have took that as a compliment.
Okay.
But to say I see us being married, then I'm like, okay, it's a difference.
Right.
So I think his word choice threw him off. And then I also think that him, you know, cutting things with the other women, it's almost like he didn't give things a chance to develop between him and Sabrina, or him and Carrie. And maybe he knew, you know, at that point that isn't what he was looking for. Mm-hmm. But I think because of the show, you're on a whole dating show, still go through the process. Because that's what Shiloh was saying, is like, let me go through the process. And he should have did the same thing.
Yeah, he should have did the same thing. And he did make a mistake by cutting the other women off and kind of planting his flag on Shiloh, because you can, that boat can sink, and it sure did sink real fast. She pulled that plug.
Yes.
So but that message, I think, is sending to guys is that, you know, keep your options open. Am I right?
In a situation like this, if you are single and you're dating, then of course be open and honest, and definitely keep your options open. Because like when you're getting to know someone, like things can change from week to week. Mm-hmm. So that first week you're getting to know me, like, oh, okay, I'm really feeling them. We're connecting on a lot of levels. Week 2, something can happen and you can be like, oh, heck no, I'm good. So to start shutting things off and making big decisions in such a short period of time is not going to be well. Like, you need to just continue to collect data and see, okay, you know, and I think that's just where he went wrong. He just jumped straight, and maybe that was a strategy of his that he thought would work out, and it didn't work out.
He said he had no regrets when she and that's another thing. This is crazy to me. They say Shiloh told him, and you know the phrase they use at the end, right? You are not ready to love. He was the most ready to love than anybody, in my opinion. So that whole phrase doesn't really match. You know what I mean? Now it matches with Corey. Let's keep it a buck.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you are not ready to love.
You are not ready to love. No.
But with Tyrone, I don't think it applies. I don't know if they should get another alternate phrase or whatever. But that guy was more ready than any of them. He knew who he wanted, and you know, he said he didn't have no regrets. But it was just kind of funny watching him get eliminated. Like, you are not ready to love.
Right.
I was ready for you, Shiloh, and you sending me home. You know what I mean? It just seemed a little weird to me, but
yeah, I actually would have liked to see him stay on longer, because I feel like, as he mentioned, he's just kind of awkward in these situations. And so I think just the experience alone would have helped him and gave him better understanding about dating and, you know, what's a good move, what's not so much a good move.
Yeah,
Because he definitely seemed like he was a nice guy.
he was
Definitely.
a nice guy. He was ready to love. He is awkward. I think he's like a securities officer
Yeah, and
or
there's nothing
securities.
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. You know, he's a little quirky. Some say he got some shifty eyes. You know, I don't know.
Right. I didn't even notice that until people said it. Then I was like, oh yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah. But you know, good guy. I think he'll find his queen some other
Yes.
place. But
Yes.
and if I'm being honest too, Shiloh kind of let me down.
How so?
I get to that. I get to
Okay.
that when it's my turn. But you can go to your list here. So go ahead.
Okay. So on looks. So I'll start with you want me to start with my top 5 or my bottom 5?
Well, yeah, just the other guys, as far as their looks and their personalities.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the bottom because those are easier to kind of talk about. So I guess I'll get to Naeem.
Naeem, okay.
Naeem. So let's just say, just on looks alone, guys who, you know, in probably 3.5 seconds, I would be like, no. I would have a conversation with them, but like they wouldn't get my number. Things wouldn't go past us having a conversation at that moment.
Right.
So that would be Lamont, Carrington, and then I would have to say probably with Naeem, it would just depend on his conversation. It would depend on his conversation on if things would go.
So he can halfway get in the door with his looks, but he got to have a good conversation.
You'd have to have a good conversation. And I'm like, oh, okay, he seems interesting. But, you know, let's see what this can develop into. And then Corey. So Naeem, Corey, Tyrone, Carrington, Lamont. It would Carrington, Lamont, and then I would have to even say Frank.
I kind of knew you was going to say Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I kind of knew it.
Yeah, those are in my bottoms.
Bottom 5.
Those are in my bottoms. And I would kind of, like I said, in 3.5 seconds, it's like friend zone already. Nothing more. But like I said, if the conversation took a turn and something developed, you know, possible.
So you know Frank would have turned you on when he was shaking that drink, though. You know that, right? You know
when
that.
He started. Okay, so like I said, I think it's very cute. It's very endearing when a guy does something that he's trying to, you know, impress you.
Impress you, right?
When he started shaking up that drink, I was like, "Please stop!"
I know, right?
Please stop. He just looks so weird, and
they did.
I wish he had not done that. It was just weird. I don't think she was impressed by it. It was just kind of like, please don't.
Yeah, please don't do that. She liked the taste of the drink.
Thankfully, the drink tastes good. But you know, Frank was one from his interview. I was like, yeah, that's just not the type of guy I'm looking for. He seems like he's all about appearances, you know? So to me, when I'm looking for a relation, and I have a boyfriend, I have a wonderful boyfriend, and just let me say, he is the most handsome man. Okay, so I'm rating these guys, but my boyfriend, Marcus, is the most handsome man. But when I'm looking, you know, for someone I'm gonna partner with and be in a relationship with, I want that guy that I can do everyday things with, because that's what a relationship is. You know, 95% of it is just the everyday, going to work, doing this, coming home, talking about your day, maybe we go, you know, have a good weekend or take a trip. But can we do that 95%, the day-to-day stuff, right? And for me with Frank, he just seems like he's that guy who's so caught up into appearances and this and that. Like, I wouldn't see us just like gelling on let's just chill type thing.
Right.
And then he seems really short.
Yeah. I I think he's. I mean, just eyeball test. I think he's about 5'9", 5'8", 5'9", something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah. So Alfred, no, would not be in my top anything.
would not be. Wouldn't make it.
Wouldn't make
Gotcha.
it. So my top five that I actually have, I would say Sean.
Sean,
The
is that number 5?
Yes,
Okay.
I will put him. So I listed my bottom five.
Okay.
So and I'm gonna work my way up to my number one
Gotcha.
of my top five. So number five would be Sean, and Sean was the new guy that they introduced.
Yeah. Okay. Chocolate drop.
Chocolate drop. Now, just
Okay.
off looks, when I would see him walk into a room, I would put Sean at about 7.5.
Wow.
About a 7.5, close to 8. But as soon as he would have introduced himself as Chantrepreneur, done, done.
Oh,
You're
my goodness.
44 and you're a Chantrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Yeah, that was unique.
Okay. So next. But just don't look. So next I would go with Phil.
Okay.
Phil on looks alone. Again, I would put him in a 7.5. My only thing as far as personality with Phil, there's some guys, and sometimes you're wrong, where you just get a nice, you feel like you could be safe with them. They're a genuine guy. I can trust them. They seem trustworthy. Sometimes you just get that feel or vibe with a guy real instantly. Phil is a guy I'm like, I don't know either way. Like, I'm still kind of waiting to see, is it real? Is it fake? So that's where I am with Phil. But just on looks, he definitely would get like a 7.5.
Gotcha.
7.5 for sure. Now my top three, I would say if I saw these men out, I would be hoping that they would come up and talk to me.
Nice.
Like, God, he looks good. I hope he comes and talk or whatever. But Walter would be number 3. And Walter is also that guy that I just instantly feel like I would be safe with him. He's he has a good heart. And I would put Walter at about an 8 on looks alone. Okay. And then Dante looks very good. I think Dante's very handsome. I would put him in about an 8.5. Again, with Dante, I can't tell where the level of sincerity is. And they haven't seen much for me to kind of gauge just where he is. So I need to see more of him. But on looks alone, he's definitely in my top 3. I'll put him at about an 8. And the guy that I think is all around best this season, Cornelius. Yes, like I have appreciated everything that has come out of Cornelius's mouth. And just on looks alone, I put him at about a 9.
Wow.
I put Cornelius at about a 9. Wow. And everything that he said, how he moves and everything, I've been impressed with. I have been very impressed with Cornelius.
He has been he's becoming a favorite of the ladies.
Yes, I'm very impressed with him. Yeah. But I was very impressed with Joel last season, and that quickly changed.
Joel, yeah.
Oh my God,
that went so far left with Vernisha.
Right.
But what about Jason and Liz though? What about Jason? You remember him? I think that was last season, wasn't it?
That was last season.
Yeah.
About their breakup?
Yeah, as far as looks and personality wise.
Yeah, Jason, looks wise, I would say a 5.5, a 6. Jason just looks very young.
Okay.
And so I would see him and be like, oh, that's someone's child. Like he's just like a cute little boy. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
see him like, oh, that's my man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look young. I kind of thought they were a bit of a mismatch because Liz seems a little more mature than Jason, and
Right.
wasn't sure how long that was going to stretch out for.
Right. I was really rooting for them, and I thought maybe there was this another side of Jason that, they're going to make it work. And I still think, Jason's a great guy. Liz is spectacular, but it was always an awkward match to me.
Yeah, I felt that too. I agree with you. They're both great people. I'm sure they'll find the right person for them.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let me get to my list here. I'm not gonna go in any particular order, but I am gonna do my top 5 in particular order. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go Sabrina. Last week I had her at a 7.5. I still got her at 7.5. And let me say this. All right, I'm pretty locked in on the looks right now, so I'm probably not gonna do the looks anymore. It's just the personality and what I see throughout the show that happens. So I'm pretty locked in with her at being a 7.5.
Okay.
And her personality, I'll put her at a 6.5. I think she's dope. I think she's cool. And she did one thing that got your boy.
What was she?
When she was at the pool and she did the Pardon of the Red Sea with the legs.
Yeah.
And Walter's face was.
Yes, I mean, he had with the roses.
Yeah.
When she was talking about the rose, I was like,
when it was at, that was pretty smooth, nice. Sabrina. Okay, I see you, mommy. Okay.
Right.
Mo Ming has been shooting up my rankings. Mo Ming is cool. Now I got her at 6.5 in looks.
Really?
Yeah,
I think she's gorgeous.
No, she is. I really love her body. I'm not so sure what's going on with the hair, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Not that anything's wrong with that, but Mo Ming, and she has the hoop earring. I don't really have a problem with it, but it can get distracting. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like maybe studs are probably a little, because I don't want her to get snagged on something. I don't know. It's just a crazy little quirky thing. It's all me, ladies. It's all me. Don't even trip. It's all me. It's a quirky thing with me.
Okay.
But I do think that she is a gorgeous woman. 6.5. I could see her. If somebody says 7, I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that.
I see her. She's a person to me that's beautiful inside and out.
I agree. I agree. And she, like I said, she has been shooting up my rankings because I got to see more of her personality. Yes. And I'm loving what I'm seeing. She called your boy Corey out on his stuff, and she did it respectfully. And you gotta love that about her. She's a genuine person, and it was dope. So like Mo Ming. Now let me say this, and I'm gonna say it correctly.
Okay.
My top 3 is going to be wifey material.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not on the show, so they're not gonna be my wife, but they'll be wifey material in my eyes. I could see myself long term with these ladies.
Good clarification. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
so continuing to go down the list, I got Courtney. I got her at a 7.5 last week. I still got her there. She's pretty much locked in at 7.5. Personality wise, had her at a 7.5. She's still locked in at that. Look, she told Corey the real deal. And you know what? I think she was genuinely hurt when she had to eliminate him.
She did seem like she was genuinely hurt.
Yeah, and she was like,
He
I'm
had did
done with
some
this.
really cute, like,
Yeah,
special things for her. Like I would have been like, oh my gosh, like with the little
right,
notes and all of that. So
right.
I think she was really opening up to like, feeling him and all of that. So then when they both said he wanted both of them to meet their parents, I think that just literally like kind of broke her heart a little bit. Like, okay,
Yeah. And
yeah, it
she
was
just started
almost
to
like,
feel like she was getting played, you know?
yes. And it looked like that moment, like, when you are like putting yourself back out there and you're hoping for the best and then you have to be like, okay, here we go again.
Right.
It looked like she was like in that moment.
Right. I mean, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but women want to feel special.
Absolutely.
And when you do stuff like use the same lines on them that you do other women,
get away.
that's just whack.
Get away.
It's just whack, bro.
Get away. Yeah.
So and that took away her feeling of being special away.
Exactly.
And she felt the way, and I don't blame her one bit,
Yeah.
And I can kind of genuinely tell she was getting to like this guy, only to find out it was pretty much a lie or a game.
Right. So. And Momine.
Yeah, and Momine too.
They were both liking him.
Yeah. And I think he was really feeling Courtney the most. I think he said he wanted Momine to meet his parents because I think he was trying to reel her back in.
Yeah.
He was getting kind of,
He definitely said that in distress.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
It was under duress.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey, Corey, you whack for that, bro. Okay,
straight
moving
up.
on.
Period.
All right. Next up is Camille.
Bless her heart. Bless her heart.
I had Camille at a 6.5. I still got her locked in at that looks wise. I had a personality at a 6. I dropped it to a 5. Camille, dear, please, sweetheart, listen to me, please. Do not call a man naive and a dumbass. Okay? It's not going to get you no extra points.
Yeah.
You're talking to the guy who's probably the most favorite guy in the group, and you're calling him all these names. That's a red flag for any man. Okay?
Yeah.
That means that you're going to continue to do that throughout the relationship. Now, you were engaged 4 times and you never walked down the aisle. That was red flags to me. I don't know if those brothers know that because that was in your interview.
Right.
But you were engaged 4 times and you never walked down the aisle, and you're asking them about bank accounts, this, that, and the third, and you're calling them a naive dumbass. Yeah, I mean, you're dropping like an anchor in personality. And honestly, I don't know how long that's going to be tolerated by Corn, because that is just a huge turnoff to all men. So
yes.
You disappointed me, Camille.
Way out of line, especially considering you're on a dating show.
Right.
You're dating other people and talking to other people. And moments later, like if she had that whole episode and then trying to cry on his show. But then moments later, when they transition to the second part, she's all hugged up with some other, I think it was, I'm not sure who it was, if it was Phil or somebody. She's all hugged up with him, walking down the stairs, laughing. And I'm just like, I think for her, it's about, maybe the women see Cornelius as the top guy. Mm-hmm. And for her, it's about, I want to win the top guy.
Right.
I don't even think she even, again, just questioning the sincerity about being on the show and questioning if you're really ready to love. Right. Like at this point, when you say that you're really ready to love, I think that you know some of the basics on how to present yourself. Mm-hmm. You know some of the basics on how to speak to a man or speak to a woman. You know some of the basics on, women want to be made to feel special. Mm-hmm. You can't tell all of them the same thing. If you're still at that level, like I teach 7th and 8th grade children, Corey would fit right in with the boys and how they talk. Like his conversation, it would fit right in.
Right,
And I'm
right.
looking at Camille and her emotional outbursts.
Mm-hmm.
Art, come on now. Like,
Right, right.
and so that's what I'm saying. Maybe we need to evaluate what is the standard on being ready? What is the expectation? Because this crew, a lot of them off rip, you're coming in not meeting just
Messy,
basic
yeah,
standards.
just messy, and I mean, from Camille to Corey, it's just messy. I mean,
Right.
they you know, is a lot of times that personality don't come out until a little later. So it's kind of hard to eliminate them off the rip. But I mean, you can kind of tell, like honestly, you can kind of tell why some of these people are still single, and
Yeah.
you question why some of them are. So, with her, I don't question at all why she's single. I know,
Yeah.
I already know,
Me either.
you know, and Corey the same thing. I can
Yes.
see why he's single too.
Yes.
But Camille, um, I had high hopes for her because I thought she was a relatively attractive woman.
Right.
And I did kind of like her bubbly personality, and she has a very, feminine personality, and that's cool. But when you start talking reckless, it's just a turn off.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
even the facial expressions, like as
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
talking, I'm just like, and I'm a person, I can't control my face. Like what I'm thinking will come out. But it's almost like she's like,
Right, 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 right.
"Oh,
She
yeah.
got a. I call her the puppet because she got a
Yeah.
million facial expressions, and she
Yes. And it's to
kind of
the
looks like a puppet.
extreme. It's
It's
not
to the
even like
extreme. She looked like a
it's to the
cartoon
extreme.
almost. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like little things like that. Like when I talk about knowing how to just present yourself to people that you're trying to get to know and wanting them to get to know you, like we might need some more coaching or developing in those areas.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So next up is Tasia. I had her at a 6, looks wise.
Okay.
Still locked her in at 6. Um, I had her at a 6.5, but I just knocked her down to a 6 in personality too. Tasia still has this, what do I want to call it? This entitlement thing going on. One of the first things she said is, these men playing games, they need to choose, they need to pick. I'm here, what y'all waiting on?
Right.
And I was like, oh, my goodness. But she not making no effort or no connect. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I think that Tasia, just her ego is out of control.
Right.
She has an ego.
She does.
I get it because of what she may have accomplished, and she probably feel like, these men out here, they don't know what I am. I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah, she leads with that.
Yeah, I got my master's at 22. So but what she don't realize is that men are looking for connection. Men are looking for how well will we get along together,
right,
and how do we mesh. I mean,
right,
your personal accomplishments, that's dope, you know what I mean?
right,
But at the same time, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to pick a degree. I'm here to pick a woman, you know what I mean?
That's good.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So and that's kind of where she at with it. She just have a little too much ego. I think if she humbled herself just a little bit, she would get a lot further.
Yes.
I really do.
Because
I actually like her. I actually like her. But but go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do agree with her ego. And she has not been right since she was chosen day one in the bottom 2.
Right.
Remember how hurt she was? Like, y'all tripping. Me in the bottom 2?
Right.
So, and it's like she has not recovered from that.
Yeah.
She's still in her head, like,
right.
Gonna have me in the. Okay.
Exactly.
So, like, and I think for her, like you said, if she would just humble herself, and step back and be like, okay, they had me in the bottom 2. off rip. Why? You know what I'm saying? Let me see what I might need to do differently. But and I think that's also a part of that development, because I think it's easy for men and women when you're in your 20s, early 30s, you think a relationship is about the wrong thing. What I done, what I can this. And like you say, you don't realize it's about that connection, it's about that companionship, it's about, building together. And so you're looking at the wrong things. And so my thing is that initially I thought this show was about, these are people who have been over that hump. Mm-hmm. And so they now get it and they're now ready to love. So it's like a lot of them are still, we need to evaluate, well, what is the standard? Where do you need to be? Because she's still talking about, she got a degree at 22. Girl, don't nobody care about that.
Right.
Like, I would, and even if I was meeting you as a friend, I wouldn't care about you got your degree at 22. I'm trying to get to know you and see if you are going to connect.
Right. And that's the part I don't think she's getting. I think she has to kind of, do you know how old she is? I'm not sure.
Did I write her age down? I don't have hers written down, but I think she's in her like late 30s.
Mid to late 30s.
Like 37, something like that.
Yeah, it's almost as if she don't really have a lot of dating experience, and I just need her to calm her the ego down and just humble herself to the point where she can actually let some other guys in, because men kind of pick up on that. Frank picked up on that when he was shaking them drinks. Right. You know what I mean? He was like, she's giving me this weird vibe, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't think she was attracted to Frank. But at the same time, who are you attracted to? And if you are attracted to somebody, do he know?
Right, because I don't really see. I think when she mentioned in the last episode, she said it was. Didn't she mention Phil? And she said it was it's new. It's like a new development.
Oh yeah. She did say that.
So,
but I don't know if this is a producer thing, but I don't see them talking.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see Phil checking for her. But
I don't see Phil checking for her. I don't see her checking for him. So this is like some make-believe type stuff as far as we see. Right. Yeah, they might call. What we see. Exactly. They might call each other on the phone, but we don't see that. So
right.
So next up is Aisha. And look, I got a special place for Aisha. I really like her. Some may trip because I called her Cicely Tyson granddaughter or something like that.
Right.
Now, for the record, Cicely Tyson is a 10, y'all. She's a 10. Period. Okay, period. Up in heaven.
Period.
Yes, blessings to the queen.
Yes.
Now, Aisha could get up there, but she's not quite there yet. She's working on it though.
Yeah.
Aisha, can I talk to you?
Come closer.
Come closer, please, sweetheart. The blonde wig. Listen. You have a face and you have a body type that will even allow you to have a shorter haircut, like, or a short cut or something stylish. I'm sure whatever is going on is probably better than the blonde wig. Okay.
You're not feeling the blonde wig.
I'm not feeling the blonde wig. It's almost like, carpet and you got beautiful hardwood floors underneath. You know what I mean? Like, let's pull out this carpet and just buff out these beautiful hardwood floors. What are we doing? You know what I mean? I think she's cute enough to get a different type of hairstyle. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even mind the tattoo so much if she kind of got like the blonde wig is throwing me off. Now I don't know if it's like a distraction thing, meant to be a distraction, because she don't want you to see her face. I mean, she got a nice face.
Yeah, she does.
But
it is a lot. it's a lot going
It's a
on.
lot. It's a lot with the blonde wig. I don't think she needs it. I think she could be just as cute without it.
Right.
It's just a distraction that I want to look at your face. I want to look at you. I see the beauty in you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
let's not overdo it. You know what I
Right.
mean with the
Right.
with the looks. And the blonde wig is just I know that didn't come out your head. You know what I mean? So just facts, and a lot of brothers feel that way too. I understand. Women like to look their best and they want to look pretty. I get it, but I think you can accomplish that without the blonde wig, or I
Right.
just think you can
And
do
and
it.
I think so this is why I say she has a special place with me. I can just relate to her story in that she was
Mm-hmm.
married young, spent most of her 20s, being a mom, being a wife, and now that she's divorced and kids are just about grown, like she's ready to now I get to, like she
Right,
said,
do
she's ready
me.
to be
Right.
flowed out and all of this. And so I think that's the tattoos and that the clothes and the wig. It's like I didn't get this moment, so I want this moment,
Stella
right?
Stella getting her groove back over there.
Right. So I'm gonna say, okay, girl, get it, do it, have the moment, and I can relate to that because my story is very, very similar to
Right,
that.
right, right.
Um, I do think that with the right man, with her husband, I think if her husband was like, "Hey, babe, let's try it different," I think she would be like, "Okay, baby," and that would be no problem. She's used to being a wife. She says she loves being a wife. I can definitely relate to that.
I love that. Women who want to be mothers and wives, I love you.
Yes.
Okay. And that's why she has a special place in my heart, because I see that in her. Now, I do see her as wifey material. You know what I mean? Because any woman who wants to be a mother or a wife, you got extra points with me off the
Yeah.
bat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I do love her story too, just like you. And she's not coming off disrespectful or anything, and she's pleasant to be around. I think she had fun with Frank in the photo booth thing, and
Yeah.
she's playful and she's ready to get her groove back, be butt
Yeah.
naked on the beach somewhere. I mean, those are
Yeah.
her words. So
Right.
yeah, I think Aisha is dope. Now I gave her a 6 in looks. I kept her at a 6. But I gave, and her personality was a 7, and I kept her at a 7. Um,
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
yeah, and I, look, that's workable. That's workable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You could wife somebody up with those numbers. So shout out to Aisha.
Right.
I'm interested to see what's coming on up in the next episodes, but from what I see so far, you're pretty dope chick. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. What we've seen so far, for sure.
What we've seen so far. Next up is Shiloh. Uh, Shiloh, I had at a 6 in looks and a 8 in personality. I got a 6 in looks still. She's locked in there, and a 7.5 in personality. I think maybe she led Tyrone on a little bit. Now, look, you feel how you feel. Okay, you feel how you feel. If she wasn't there with Tyrone, that's not necessarily her fault. I can't really fault her for that, because people emotionally move at different paces with each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I get that, but I just felt like she could have handled that situation with him better. She started to cry at the whole round table or whatever, but she sent him home and told him he wasn't ready to love, and I'm not there. And maybe she should have told him, look, Tyrone, don't put all your eggs in my basket, go out there. Did she say that? Because
Well, when they were at the pool and he told her that he sees her as his wife, she was just like, You told the other woman that? And even in that sit down when she was saying, she said it's not just me. She said that's why she was encouraging him to like go through the process. He decided that he wanted to start making those drastic cuts.
And telling everybody.
And I think she was sad because I think she wanted to continue the process of getting to know him, but she was one vote. All the other women were done with him, which he pretty much told them. Some he didn't even try to make a connection with. And then the other ones that he was kind of developing something when he shut it down. So he had no one there to bat for him. So she was like, like all we can do is end it, because like she said, it's not just her.
Who is she connected to now, you know?
Phil.
Phil?
She's also connected to Phil. He was really liking her, and that was all that I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, even the fact that she didn't really go to bat for him. I mean, I don't think we've seen the whole thing, but she didn't seem to really even go to bat for him to be like, you know, well, I still like him, this, that, and the third. She was just like, everybody else was like, okay, well, yeah, he said he was after Shiloh, so I'm out of it or whatever. And she was just like, yeah, well, you know, I guess we could send him home.
Now I will say, when they asked her who was she feeling, I don't think she mentioned him. I think she
didn't mention him first.
Yeah.
She probably mentioned him. Yeah, she mentioned him, but she didn't mention him first. She mentioned Phil first, I think.
Right. Yeah. I would say I don't see how much of it, even if she would have went to bat for him, right? Mm-hmm. He probably would have went home the next week, like, because he just had no other connections, and he wasn't even her first choice, you know?
Right.
So it was going to happen. It was kind of inevitable.
It was inevitable. It was going to happen. I just felt like she could have, you know, fought for. I mean, this guy, look, he's probably feeling you more than Phil is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if he's walking around telling everybody he see you as his wife or whatever, wifey, you should want to hold on to this brother. You know what I mean?
But it has to be mutual.
It does have to be mutual. But she could end up shooting herself in the foot if feeling somebody else. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, but if she's not feeling them, she's not feeling them. I get that.
Right.
But my whole thing is this: how did he get to that point? And I almost feel like I kind of feel like there was something that was said or done that made him get to that point. Maybe she was stringing him along, or whatever the case may be, just trying to have I don't want to say a side dude, because they all dating each other.
Right.
But I don't know. I just felt like I can't really take too many shots on her for how it happened. I just felt like it would have been nice for her to, you know, back him up a little bit, especially in the deliberation, because it's almost as if they were on two totally different pages, and I'm just questioning how they got there so far away, far apart from each other, and how they see each other. Like she was his super number one,
right?
And he wasn't even. I mean, he was halfway in the conversation with her,
right?
So somebody is missing something. I don't know who it is. It could be him. You know? Maybe he read things wrong. They hadn't even
been on a first date.
Yeah, because they said that this was our first date. Yeah,
I was like,
at the elimination. Yeah.
You see her as your wife, and y'all haven't even been on a first date.
So I'm gonna have to go with him then. I think he was reading too much into it. If he could see her as the wife, and they haven't even went on a date yet. So I can't knock Shiloh for that too much, but still knocked her down just a half a point.
Okay.
Zadia, I didn't really get much out of her this episode. I had her at a 6.5 in looks and a 5 in personality, and I kept her there.
Yeah, I think that she's beautiful. She has a nice body.
Mm-hmm.
Personality wise, she kind of comes off a little hard to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think this whole thing, like dating just in general, it's a learning process, right? And I know for me, like learning how to move and to sit in my femininity, because that's not as a culture how we're raised up to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a learning process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think she just might be kind of beginning that learning curve. A couple of ladies on the show actually. And so they just kind of come across as like, I want to run this relationship.
Yeah, and I said that she kind of reminds me of Gabrielle Union and how she looks.
Okay.
And I'm starting to think she's like that in personality too. I think Gabrielle Union would be a lot like her in personality on the show.
Okay.
You know, kind of hard, kind of you know, just the way she is. She just reminds me a lot of her. She's okay. I'm watching her personality though. She's been kind of laying low.
Yeah.
So I haven't really gotten a gauge fully on her personality. And I know she's rocking with Naeem, I think it is.
I think so, yes.
So yeah, I think Naeem is kind of keeping her alive here. So we'll see what happens.
You would say she's wife material?
Zadia?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. No.
Not
Why
at
the
all.
No? Not at all.
Not at all.
Why?
She's in my eyes, she's not feminine enough in personality. She's a little too tomboyish in personality, I think.
Okay.
And you know, she liked to crack joke. You know, she just seemed like one of the guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it doesn't really turn me on too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would say no. I wouldn't see her as wifey material. Girlfriend, smash buddy. Yeah. I'm just keeping it hot right now.
Got you.
You know what I mean? But wifey, long term, nah, I don't see that going anywhere. Okay, so next up is the newcomer, Sydney.
Sydney.
Now, I know I compare a lot of the women. I got the I said Aisha, Cicely Tyson. I said Zadia's Gabrielle Union. Sydney looks just like Ashanti. Okay.
Somebody else said that.
She looks just like Ashanti.
Yeah.
So, and listen, ladies, if you wasn't worried about no other chick, you better worry about Sydney.
Why? Okay. Why so?
Sydney, I gave her a 8.5 in looks.
Okay.
She's rated the highest there. And I gave her an 8 in personality.
Okay.
So so look, y'all better worry about her, because I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if Korn, I wouldn't be surprised if Walter started talking to her. Yeah, all of them started talking to her.
When I tell you, listen, she came to play. She's gorgeous. She has a nice body. And when I tell you she knows how to do that feminine, like all that.
She got all that.
She's good. She got it.
She's bubbly. She's bubbly, look like she's easy to get along with. Who was that in the tub with her?
Dante
was in the tub with her. Yeah, now he locked in on her.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, I think he rubbed all the women the rest of the women out of the situation.
Yeah.
I think he locked into Sydney. So
he's locked in.
Yeah.
And someone did a comparison of when Dante was talking to Carrie and how Carrie had to keep trying to drag questions out of him. Mm-hmm. But when he was sitting there with Sydney, he was all like, engaged, and he's, keeping the conversation going. And yeah, she definitely does that very well. I thought she seems very youthful.
Yeah, and I was checking for her age. She's 33.
Yeah, so
she's probably one of the youngest ones there.
Yeah, so she seems very youthful and kind of surface level, but I haven't seen much from her. But I definitely would say, as far as, playing and walking in her femininity, she gets a 10 on that. And at the end of the day, like, women feel different ways about this whole, being feminine and things like that. Masculinity is attracted to femininity, and to me, and vice versa.
Right.
I am very much attracted to masculinity. A man that is not masculine, it's almost disgusting to me. Exactly. It's not even that, I'm not attracted to him. It's like I want to throw up.
Wow.
When I don't see a man and him walking and operating in masculinity. So it's just, that's just what it is. It's yin and the yang. That's just how it works.
It's the same with men. If men see women acting masculine and not in their femininity, it's a turnoff. It's a major turnoff.
How it is.
Yeah. So especially if you are a man yourself, very masculine, you're gonna want some feminine energy. Okay, right. And that's where I'm at. Right. I want some very feminine, and that's why Zadia don't really do it for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
not necessarily her looks. It's just, she don't have enough feminine. Like her and Sydney are not on the same planet.
God.
You know what I mean?
Sydney can definitely teach them some lessons on
Exactly. So, and look, I don't expect everybody to be the same. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what draws me, since I'm a very masculine guy, what draws me is a very feminine energy, because I need that in my life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I get that.
Yeah. So so you did your top 5, right? So let me do my top 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, I'm gonna have to go with this is kind of tough.
Bottom 5.
Yeah. Okay, number 5, I'm gonna have to go with who did I have? I didn't even, hold on.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna still go with Aisha.
On bottom 5. Okay.
Number 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's still a dope chick. I would really like to. I wouldn't mind getting to know her. I like her body type. That's my type. Her face is cute. We just got to get rid of the hair and we'll be all good.
That's an easy switch.
Yeah. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Shiloh.
Okay.
Shiloh kind of lost some points with me, but I can't really blame her either.
Right.
I mean? So it's just one of those things. She tried to handle as delicately as she could, but
she did.
Yeah. So number 3, I'm going to go with it's kind of a draw between these two, it really is. But I'm going to go with Sabrina as number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you say Sabrina is wifey material, right?
Sabrina is.
Yes. Okay.
She's wifey material. From what I could see so far, I haven't seen anything to really say any otherwise.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Courtney.
Okay.
I think
Do
she
you
is
think
too.
on Courtney, do you think that she's kind of hard?
And I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, I do think she's a little hard. She's a little but I don't think it's masculine. I just think that it's how do I say?
Life experiences, maybe?
Sort of, yeah. And she's a Leo, so Leos are very strong-minded and stuff, and but I don't take it as anything masculine or anything like that. Like when Corey got her the flowers, I mean, she melted like any woman would, right?
Yes.
And she likes the whole card thing that he did. So it did show a little bit of her, a lot of her softer, feminine side. So, she might kind of walk a little, harder than most women, but emotionally, I think she's just as feminine as any other women.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah, so that's why she's number 2.
Okay.
And the new number 1 is Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney came in.
Sydney became
wrecked shop. She really just, I think she's gonna be a problem for the rest of the ladies there. I think that she's pretty dope. She's 33. She's looks like Ashanti, and personality, she seems to be very feminine. So
yeah,
if I was there,
remember she said, she was like, yeah, I just had all these men coming up to me at one time,
Yeah.
But I got used to it.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but well, I do know. She look it. Okay, let me say this, and this is kind of going to be controversial, so everybody hold your seats, ladies.
Okay.
Hold your seats. Okay, the reason why she could have been a 10, but there's 3 reasons why she can't be a 10.
Okay.
Number 1, she can't be a 10 because I'm not sure if that was her real hair.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it is.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
And I wasn't looking hard, but I think it is.
Wow.
Just in how it was
if it is, then she will go up. If it is, she will go up. I want to see her in the pool, and I want to see her come out the pool. Then we'll really know then, right?
Got you.
And the second thing is, I did like her body. I would have liked a couple more curves. You know what I mean? Yeah, just a couple more curves.
You are hard.
I know. I know.
This woman is gorgeous.
She is.
Nice body. Listen, and you're like, I need a couple of more curves.
Couple more curves. I trust me, she is gorgeous. I would. You know what I'm saying?
She's a 10.
But yeah, those are some of the reasons why she's not a 10. And I have a rule too, and this is, again, hold your seats, ladies. This is not personal. Okay, this is just my own rule. If you're over 27, you can't be a 10. I'm sorry.
Oh, just because of
a lot of father time, a lot of your baby making years are probably starting to pass you by. It's just a hard rule of mine.
I get it. And so is it the same for men too?
I can't really speak on that. That's for the ladies to
but it would have to be.
Not necessarily, because men age differently than women. Men actually come into their primes the older they get. You know what I mean? So,
but men also stop taking care of themselves more so than women.
Yeah, but what women value is not the same as what men value.
Okay. And I think there's a little misconception there. Okay. Because no, we still want you to take care of your body, to take care of your skin, to smell good, to look. We still want that. However, are we more lenient and willing to kind of overlook those appearance things faster than a guy? Yes. But do we still desire that? Yes, we do.
Yeah, and I could see that, and I agree with that. But here's the thing: as far as procreation goes, Like
Okay.
like men can procreate.
Okay.
You know, you see what I'm
And then
saying?
not be affected for sure.
Right. And
Not,
women can and men a lot of times they get their wealth and their later. So men become more valuable with time. And it kind of works. I mean, this is just nature. It kind of works the opposite with women. I didn't make the rules, ladies. I didn't,
right.
you
And I
know.
guess for me, I would say, it's like then you have men who, like you said, they get more established in their careers and things like that.
Right.
But physically, I think oftentimes men will let themselves completely cold, but
I
because they have the bank account,
Right, right.
they can,
I agree with that. Yeah,
yeah,
men will, look, father time is undefeated. It
exactly.
doesn't matter who you are, really.
Right.
So yeah, I get that part and I acknowledge that what you said. So yeah.
Right. Because I've, lost weight after turning 40 and things like that. And it's like, I don't want a guy who's a gym rat and has a six pack or anything like that. But if your standard of me is that you want me to be fit and have curves and this and that, but you walk around with a pot belly and your boobs are bigger than mine, your hips are wide. Like, how is that? Come on
Right,
now. Like, let's
right. No, I get it. Yeah, I get it. And you're right. But just from a male perspective, when it comes to women, I just kind of put that age limit on it because I think that like I say, a lot of the baby making years are catching up to you,
absolutely.
and and a lot of times women at that age probably already have kids, or you know what I mean. So those are just some of my rules. But it's beautiful women all over the place, all
Right.
ages, all ages. Don't
Right.
don't get it, misconstrued.
Yeah.
And but Sydney, she's a ripe 33. But like I said, those are the three reasons. That's why I had to knock off a half a point for each one of those. And but gorgeous girl, dope, very feminine, oh baby, Ashanti looking.
Right.
And I think she kind of came in like a bull in a china shop and just kind of stole the show as far as I'm
Right.
concerned. But I'm watching her personality. I want to see more of that so I can get a better gauge of that.
Right.
So we'll see
It
what
might be
happens.
a repeat of when all the men picked Kyra last season.
Oh yeah,
All the men are
yeah.
gonna be like Sydney.
You're right, right. And I'm not even sure why they did that with Kyra. I mean, Kyra was a gorgeous woman, no doubt about it. I didn't like how she was messing around with the guy. I just thought she was playing games. You know what I mean? Look, Jason, and this is what I'm talking about, where it gets confusing for guys because, it's like, okay, I want to rock with you, okay? Who do you want? This is what Jason said to Kyra.
He did.
And she was just like, well, I don't know. I don't this, that, and the third. It's like, really? Why
And
don't you
so,
look? We don't got many days left. Okay. The show is about
right,
to end. When are you going to make a decision? Like it
right.
was decision day and he was trying to get her to say, but she wouldn't. But go ahead.
This is what I'll say. Two things. One thing I would like to see on this show, if because as the premise of the show is that these people have been through things and now they know what they want, they're ready to love. I would like to see someone, man, woman, they meet 2-3 days in and they be like, listen, I don't even need to finish it. I want you, you want me, let's go. Let's not play games, right?
Okay.
I would like to see that, right? Because this whole, well, let me see. If you already know, like, I would love to see that. And then they just going on, we gonna do us, right? But another thing I would say is that I think that we also have to make room for grace, right? In dating, and it's a learning process. And some of these people, they're coming from all these different backgrounds and been married, been single, been doing this, been doing that, been in my career, and now I'm ready to date. So you gonna have some, you're gonna make mistakes, right? And I think that even in your choosing, if I could see that this man has 7 of the characteristics that I want in a man, and his character and his heart, and he's a man of God or whatever, I'm physically attracted to him. And maybe he misspoke, or maybe he, like, I think we got to leave some room for grace, right? Because even if you decide to be in a relationship with this person, there's still going to be that the disagreements and the this and the made a mistake here. And so I think oftentimes it's like, we'll look at these little things and be like, I can't with this person. You know what I'm saying? When they have all these other good qualities. Tyrone being a good example.
Right. Yeah. Tyrone was a good example. It's kind of hard to. It is pretty difficult. It is a situation where they are trying to get to know each other and things like that. But I just think that, first of all, I'm not really necessarily sure about because they wouldn't have a show if they just let people leave day 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if people did that, it wouldn't really have a show. And in all honesty, they probably should test them out on the show. Like, if it's real, it's gonna last, right?
Right.
So it's probably best to have them in that environment. That way they'll know. Yeah, they'll kind of know that, okay,
it's real.
Even with other beautiful women around, he still chose me. You know what I mean? And we can, because that's kind of what happened with Joel and Vernisha, but maybe not so much at the end.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people so disappointed with Joel.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So disappointed with that brother.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, this is kind of going back. There was a guy who, I forgot his name, but he chose one chick. He chose one chick that got eliminated at the end. He chose one chick, and then he went back to the one who got eliminated.
Yeah.
At the finale. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I can't rember their name.
Yeah, he got off the couch. He went off the couch and he walked
with Tandy and
yeah.
That fiasco.
That was that. Okay, now here's another question. Maybe you could help me out with this. Some of the women are saying that the more voluptuous women are getting eliminated the fastest. Like Tandy, he ended up with what's her name? Like Joel, he ended up with somebody else, not Vernisha. The comedian chick, I forgot her name. She was
Tessa.
Yeah, Tessa. She was, and the guy all friend zoned her.
Right.
And in this season, it seems like Tessia is not getting the attention that some of the other ladies are getting. Is there any validity to that, or is it in their heads, or what are your thoughts about that?
No, I think people are attracted to what they're attracted to. And I know there are men who are attracted to more curvaceous women. I think they're bringing on the curvaceous women to have them in the fold, but they're not necessarily bringing the men that desire I don't want a woman under a size 10. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not bringing the men that have the desire for those ladies, because I think if they were, they would be picking them. Like, I've had men to say that they thought I was too small. Like, no, you wouldn't work for me. I need someone who's this, that, and the other. And so I think you need to bring those men who absolutely don't prefer a woman under a certain size or want that woman that's over a certain size. And I don't think they're doing that. I think they're picking, most of the men that they're picking, just as their personal preference, prefer a different body type. Right. So I think you need to pick the men who, like, when you're screening them, that are saying, I only want to date a woman who is Otherwise, if you're bringing the men that prefer petite women, and then you're adding in women who are not, of course they're not going to get picked.
But we're in season 5 now, right?
Right.
And there are no men that are like that.
I don't, and see, this is what I'm saying. I don't know that they're specifically picking them.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they did, if a guy said, I specifically want a woman who is a plus size woman, and then they're bringing them in and what they're changing, to me, you didn't want the plus size woman.
Mm. Okay.
So I think it's a thing of they're not picking men that desire that. Because if that's what you want, that's what you want.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Joel. I mean, I think he was one of those guys because he liked Vernisha. I mean, you know, and I think he even said that at some point that he liked, you know, a woman with some meat on her bones or with this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you know, he was hollering at some of the smaller women, like the shorter, dark skinned chick that was with Chris, right?
Yes.
What was her name? But he was, I believe that was her. No,
yeah, he was.
Yeah. So
and
it was
Kyra,
like,
because we chose Kyra too.
Right. So even it's almost as if the man has the pick of the litter, so to speak, or the options, or just all types of shapes and sizes around him, he's going to automatically go to just what's more appealing to him.
And I get that too, but to me, if that's what you're doing, because like you say, women want to be picked. We want you to see all the women in the room, and we want you to pick us. So if that's what you're doing, to me, you're not like saying I'm 100%. I want a woman who's a plus size.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying like I think all women are beautiful, the big ones and the smaller ones and the medium shape, I can go with it. Okay, well then if you got your pick of the litter, then you might gravitate towards. But
so they need to do a better job of picking men who like these kinds of women.
If you're going to bring plus size women on the show, bring men who only prefer the plus size woman. Because I think what they're seeing is, yes, they'll say I prefer a plus size woman, but like you said, when they get to kind of have their pick of the litter, they're like, no,
right,
I'll go with her instead.
Yeah. Do you think it's probably starting to get embarrassing for thicker women? Because it's like, you know, they want to see, and there's a lot of women out there like that, and they want to see their sisters win. They want to see their sisters find love, and this show is you know, a platform to kind of give them that fairy tale ending. You know what I mean?
Right.
That some of them are looking for, or should they just, you know, just work on getting to that body weight that they see some of these other women are at?
No, I don't think that they need to start trying to change themselves to fit any kind of mold. You know, whatever they're happy with. If they want to lose weight, fine. If they're fine where they are, then that's fine as well. I think the show does depict accurately what goes on in real life with dating.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, I think, like you said, if men have their pick of the litter with body types,
mm-hmm.
They might be not so much picking a woman that is a plus size, but there are men who do prefer that body type. Like I said, I've been told like, you're too small. No, right. I wouldn't want to date you. Right. And so maybe that isn't like the popular preference for men, but you're going to have to find those men. Otherwise, it's just setting the plus size women up for failure to put them on the show, and then you got all of these size 6s and size 7s. And
I agree with that. So they're going to have to find these men. Hey, men, these women are sexy. Okay.
Yes.
Vernisha, I was feeling Vernisha.
Bernicia was
You know what I
beautiful.
mean?
Tassia, Tessa,
To
all
see a
of them
test.
have been.
Yeah, yeah,
They have
yeah.
found some gorgeous plus size women.
I think to
Gorgeous.
see is attractive too. I mean,
Yes.
so yeah, it does take a special kind of guy.
Right.
Um,
And what's interesting also, why haven't they bought on any plus size men?
oh, I was gonna mention that. I was gonna mention that.
Why?
You know
You know what I'm
why?
saying?
Because women don't want plus size men. You know what I mean?
There's
Y'all.
that small percentage who would be like, I want that big teddy bear right there.
No, you know what women want? They want the cut abs. You know what I mean? The
No.
biceps. They want all that
Like I said,
stuff.
maybe in your 20s and 30s, it was all about, okay, right now, listen, okay, I need this man to have a good heart.
How many of you ladies like the dad bod? See there?
I'm okay. Listen, I am okay. I'm okay with the dad bod. I don't want him to be, and this is my personal preference. I wouldn't want a man who, number one, just doesn't value taking care of himself.
Okay.
Right. So that's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if he, my thing, like if his boobs are bigger than mine, and his belly look like he 9 months pregnant, okay.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's
I
a
can't.
problem.
That's a problem, right? But
it.
he got a little good. He got okay. We all got our, like you said. I didn't have kids, okay. So it's things have shifted.
Girl, you fabulous. Stop it.
Things have shifted, okay. And we just listen. We gotta just kiss all over it on each other.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they should bring in. You know what? That would solve it if they
It
bring in
would.
a
I
guys
think
that
it
were,
definitely would.
of a bigger size, and they have a preference towards bigger women.
Yep.
I don't think it's because it seems like they're trying to. I mean, it's a TV show. They're trying to get ratings, right?
Right.
And I don't know how many ratings they're gonna get with guys like that, but if they want to, they at least got to enter one or two guys.
At least.
You know what I mean?
For
these women, so that they can pair bond a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So RTL, bring in some, dad bod guys. You know what I mean?
Dad bod. Yeah.
We don't need a whole bunch of sexy flexies walking around.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you know what they're going to pick. They're going to pick the women that are, more comparable to themselves. So, yeah. In the next casting, do that. So.
Yeah. I would like to see that.
I would too. So, all right. Last but not least, we got to make a prediction. Okay. On the guy and the women. You know what? They eliminating 2 people this round, ain't they? Since they brung in Sydney and what's his name?
John.
Yeah, they eliminating 2 people now from each side.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
So who do I think will get eliminated next?
Yes.
That prediction?
Yes.
From the women, easy. I think that Camille.
Okay.
I think Camille. When they have their conversation about her actions, and she kind of did that publicly, and other people could see it. I think that was a turnoff for a lot of men. So I think Camille will be on the bottom as far as the women, and then who else might be on the bottom as far as the women? Probably, I have my whole list right here with their names on it. Oh, Tassia.
Okay.
Tassia and Camille. And I think of those 2, actually, maybe Tassia would go home. Because like we said, she doesn't really have a connection, and she's still walking around with this ego, and her feelings are still hurt that she was in the bottom.
Right.
So,
a couple times, actually.
I think Camille and Tassia will be in the bottom 2, and Tassia will go home. As far as the men, I think bottom 2 would be.
Well, I think they did the bottom 2 of the men already with.
So now it's gonna be the women. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, I think those will be the bottom 2 for the women: Camille and Tassia. Okay. They're already gone. What about you?
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, Tassia and Camille are on the bottom right now. And Zadia is she probably got one more week or whatever in her.
Right.
But as far the next two, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Tasia and Camille, because Camille just keeps shooting herself in the foot, and Tasia is not really making any connections. So I think she is going to be next to go. And like I said in the last video, I would hate to see her go. But I think she is going to go. I think she is going to like I said, I think she's a wonderful woman. She just got to get out of her ego and her mind a little bit and open up a little bit more, and not expect men to move how she wants them to move. She's going to have to start humbling herself and make some moves herself, and kind of go after the guy that she likes, because it's not real clear. Like she said that her and Phil got a little something, but I think
everybody at the table was like, oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's really just to try to keep her in the game, so to speak, is Phil. Like, I don't even really think that, because she don't even let you know who she's really feeling. So it's like, I mean, if you're not feeling anybody, then just self-eliminate, if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll see.
We shall see.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, thanks for helping me out with this.
Thank you.
Rochelle, you did an awesome, dope job.
And so did you.
Yes. And I don't know, maybe we'll try again next week if you got time, or
it would be my pleasure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, y'all. This is the latest episode of RTL, and since BMR covered it, now it's official. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
See you later.
All right.